right, I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7:01. 7:01. And, I already did at 6 o'clock. I'm calling public session to order. And we're going to start with our Pledge of Allegiance. So everyone can please rise and recite the pledge. And thank you, our pledge. Thank you. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, TCS students, for a robust pledge. So agenda review, is there anything, I have nothing to add to the agenda. Do you have anything? Board members, anything to add to the agenda? No. I'll do it through my chickens. Thank you. Okay. Sorry, just Dr. Dunn was reminding me of something that I need to mention during my chairman's report. Next is so that concludes agenda review. Next is the TCS student presentation. So the floor is for your principal's hands.
Good evening. I'm sure you didn't notice we have some super cute, adorable TCS friends. I'm sure you haven't noticed them yet, right? Welcome, I'm of course Katie Small, the principal. Welcome to TCS. I know you just finished an over session on Saturday full of the state of the schools and all of this information about our schools, so I will not share the same. We are thrilled to have you here. We are a school of 110, but growing, small and mighty, and very, very proud and honored to be here each day. Speaking of proud and honored, I have 4 first grade friends behind me, Charlotte, Mason, Jackson, and Madalena, and their fearless teacher, Mrs. Davis, who are going to be presenting 3 of their theme days this year. Now, I do want to just point out, if you were on the board last year, Charlotte and Mason were in our kindergarten class, and they were all ready to get up here, and time ran out, and they weren't able to, so they are back for their encore performance here in first grade. So I am just going to take a moment to cue some slides in the back. As each student talks about their theme days, you'll see some picture collages to join.
Board members would like to sit in the crowd. I'm going to move to the crowd. So
yeah, we have a good spot on this end.
We have good. Okay. All right. I didn't know if anyone wanted to. All right.
My name is Charlotte Williams, and we would like to welcome you to Tucker Merrill Central School. I am a first grader in Mrs. Davis's class. I am here with some of my classmates to share about exciting things we have been doing in first grade. Each month we have a theme day that is full of learning and fun. Our first theme day of the year was Apple Day in September. Here are the pictures that you can see. Many themed in math and writing and science activities about apples. We especially enjoyed learning about oxidation and making observations throughout the day. We noticed that apple slices were changing color and turning brown as they were exposed to oxygen. We also got to taste test many different types of apples and graph our favorites. The best part of Apple Day was working together to make homemade applesauce in a crock pot. It was delicious and made our classroom smell so good. In October, our class had Pumpkin Day. As you can see in the pictures, we worked together. We had many pumpkins donated to our class. We worked together and put the pumpkins from smallest to largest and really enjoyed taking the slimy seeds out. Getting messy is always fun. We worked with partners and used the seeds to practice counting to 100 and also played math games with the seeds. We wrote about the life cycle of a pumpkin and sequenced pictures on crowns. Miss Davis read us the book Pumpkin Town, and we wrote about what happened in the beginning, middle, and end of the story. In November, our class had Friendsgiving. Friendsgiving was a celebration that was about gratitude and friendship. We talked about what it means to be a kind friend and how we can help others. We also had 3 volunteers join our class. The best part of Friendsgiving was eating our lunch together as a class family. In December, Miss Davis invited our families to join us for making gingerbread houses. It was fun to use our engineering skills, but the best part was definitely the candy. Our last theme day was on Thursday, and it was Hot Chocolate Day. We started our day by designing a gratitude mug and wrote things we were thankful for on paper marshmallows. We did a how-to writing activity and wrote the steps to make hot chocolate. The best part of Hot Chocolate Day was drinking hot chocolate. We got to see the water boil, stir the mix, and then enjoy your special drink that had marshmallows in it. Thank you for letting us share about our special days in first grade.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, TCS first graders. We appreciate you joining us. Do you have a-
Before you guys leave.
So sorry. Sometimes we forget that, or we don't have time and you guys are little and have bedtimes. But I just want to say I'm so impressed with all 4 of you. Did such an amazing job reading. It is really hard to read something and emphasize the words you want to emphasize and remember to do that. And you all did it. And I love it. And I'm glad you're learning while you're having fun. And thank you so much. I'm so glad I got to see this.
Thank you.
Ditto. Very well said. Okay. We'll now move on to the acceptance of minutes. First, we have our January 5th board meeting minutes. Is there a motion to accept the minutes as presented or any edits?
Second.
Moved by Dr. Beth, seconded by Nate to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion? Seeing none, Kathy, could call the roll, please, once you're ready.
Tom?
Yes.
Kirsten? Yes. Kayla?
Yes.
Dr. Jim?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Dr. Beth?
Yes.
Danielle?
Yes.
Nate?
Yes.
Brody?
Aye. Motion passes 9-0. We'll now move on to the Community Relations Committee meeting minutes, January 5th. And committee members present were Tom Bickford, Dr. Beth Scheckler, and Nate Williams. So is there a motion to accept those meeting minutes as presented?
So,
Moved by,
second.
moved by Nate, seconded by Tom. Dr. Beth, do you have any discussion? No? Okay. If Kathy could call the roll of those committee members that were present at that meeting.
Tom?
Aye.
Dr. Beth? Yes. Nate?
Yes.
So those minutes pass 3-0. Next, we'll have our Academic Affairs Committee meeting of January 12th. Those present were Tom Bickford, Dr. Beth Scheckler, Mary Shilroth, and Daniel Van Dusen. Is there a motion from the committee members to accept the minutes as presented or any amendments?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Beth,
I'll second.
seconded by Daniel Van Dusen. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Kathy? Oh, Mary has. I'm sorry, Mary. You got to raise your hand.
So I left before any kind of decisions were made on that meeting, so I'll go abstain when it's my turn to vote.
Thank you for letting us know, Mary. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Kathy, call the roll, please.
Tom?
Aye.
Mary?
Abstain.
Dr. Beth?
Yes.
Nate? I'm sorry. Danielle?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0 with one abstention. And we'll now move to the manifest approval. Tonight's manifest is in the total of $8,485,356.02. Is there a motion to accept the manifest as presented?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Jim.
Second.
Seconded by Katie Hewitt. Is there any discussion? I just have one discussion point. On the, sorry, it's nothing. On our agenda, it says Kirsten Burke is going to be one of the signers. She's sick. Can someone else sign in?
Sure.
Nate will. Okay, all right. So then I need to pass this down to you, or can folks pass this down to me? All right, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Kathy, could you call the roll, please?
Tom?
Yes.
Kirsten? Yes. Kayla?
Yes.
Dr. Jim?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Dr. Beth?
Yes.
Danielle?
Yes.
Nate?
Yes.
Brody?
Aye. All right, so manifest passes 9-0. And Tom, once you're done signing that one, if you could send it over to me, no rush. But I know it's a lot, and I know we're doing the meeting, but just want to make sure I don't forget to sign it. We will move on to public input. 15 minutes total, 3 minutes per individual, unless extended by a vote of the board. I ask everyone to direct their comments towards the board. No cross chatter, to be respectful and nice.
Quiet lunch.
So if there's no public input, I want to make sure. Okay, if there's no public input, then I'll close the public input, and we will move on to the student representative report. Bryce, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Bert. Good evening, everybody. The start of February marks the beginning of the second semester in the high school, with finals happening last week and schedule changes starting today. We are also now a little over halfway through our winter sports season, which has been very successful overall. Boys hockey sits at 8-2, with losses coming only to Berlin Gorham and John Stark. Boys basketball currently holds an 8-3 record, and we will host undefeated Manchester West at home tomorrow. Girls hockey is at 5-3-1, and girls basketball 5-6. Track and field, wrestling, and the ski teams are all amidst impressive seasons as well. Moving on to academics, the SEAL Bioliteracy test was held earlier this month for upper level French and Spanish students, with high numbers of them receiving gold and silver scores. This Thursday and Friday, tours will be held for upcoming 8th graders to get an idea of what high school will be like. The Student Council has now begun planning a pep rally and spring fling dance on Friday, March 20th, following a Spirit Week. All classes are also practicing their lip sync performances for this year, which will be held on April 3rd in the Arts Center. The James Foley Legacy Course just had their annual exhibit showcase for the public about a week ago with a good showing from the community. Knights Against Hunger is holding their annual Empty Bowls fundraiser from 5 to 7 p.m. on February 13th in the cafeteria. Both DECA and FPOA are preparing for their state business and marketing competitions, which will come in late February and March and offer an opportunity for students to qualify for national competition in Atlanta and San Antonio this summer. FPOA is also currently holding a Krispy Kreme donut fundraiser for another 2 weeks. Youth in Government just held their annual caucus at the Pizza Bar in Ossipee with Wolfeboro and Kennett, where members ran for positions to practice parliamentary procedure in April. And last but not least, Kingswood Theater will be holding their spring production of The Last Firefly on March 13th and 15th. I'd like to thank you all for this opportunity to represent my peers on the school board, and have a great rest of your night, everyone.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Bryce? Seeing none. Thank you, Bryce, for joining us this evening and for your great report. All right, we will move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Kelly, the floor is yours. So. Oh, of course, yes.
Thank you very much. I'll highlight a few things from my report. First, as I shared almost exactly 1 year ago, we're recommitting our district statement on student safety and immigration regarding immigration enforcement. So at this time, there have been no reports or sightings of immigration enforcement officials, including ICE, at our schools or our bus stops. And we continue to monitor the situation. We have been contacted by families across the district and some staff members who do share concerns and wonder how the district handles these situations if we were to have immigration enforcement at our schools. And I will say again that immigration enforcement officials are not permitted access to our schools without a valid criminal judicial warrant. We will not be sharing student data, student information, student location, or that for employees without an actual order signed by a judge. So if anyone in the community has questions for us, they can feel free to reach out. We've worked with our administration and front office staff so that everyone is aware of this, how we would handle anyone approaching our schools without actually being listed as a legal guardian. So I encourage families to make sure that you have legal guardians in your contacts with us at schools. Thank you. And on a lighter note, we have a podcast link that we recorded at WCTV with two board members, Mary Schilleriff and Kirsten Burke. So I encourage the community to learn more about our budget process. Of course, we'll have the deliberative video, which, that's going to be a 4-hour watch. So if you want it in a smaller session, I think our recording was about maybe 15 minutes. And you can find all of our videos on WCTV. Keep an eye out because now in production is a brand new feature film celebrating teachers. So we're really looking forward to that. That concludes my district update. May I continue?
Are there any questions for the superintendent about our district update?
Superintendent update.
Yeah, just the district update.
No questions.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll move on to the next item, Kingswood Children's Summer Theater MOU.
Thank you. So I'm pleased to bring a draft MOU forward to the school board. Kingswood Children's Summer Theater Executive Director Delina Bickford approached the district last fall to explore different ways that we could work together. For those who are not familiar, Kingswood Children's Summer Theater has been a much beloved program for decades in this district, and due to circumstances, it did not run last year. So there's a lot of details, a lot to the story. Long story short, we came up with an idea for the district to help. This would be a win-win situation because we share families, we share these students, and it's the same students who are in our schools and who eventually participate in our high school theater productions. So the idea that's in this MOU, and it has been reviewed by Barbara Lohman, our legal counsel, is for the district to employ a business manager, and for the business manager to analyze the books, to make sure the bills are paid, to oversee hiring, to make the decisions regarding rate setting, and to make sure that the organization is in a good place. This MOU involves the Kingswood Children's Summer Theater to reimburse the district for the stipend for the business manager. It also requires the business manager to pay the district for the rental fees through the Children's Summer Theater account. So this is a partnership that would involve zero cost to the district other than the actual processing of hiring a business manager. This MOU, this is a pilot, so it's for 1 year while we assess this plan and this partnership. It could be that the summer theater needs a year to plan before it is up and running again. Perhaps it doesn't run this summer, but it could run this summer. It depends on the financial health of the program. Any questions so far?
Any questions for the superintendent? Or a motion?
I move to authorize the district to enter into a 1-year memorandum of understanding with Kingswood Children's Summer Theater as presented, contingent upon a final legal review and full reimbursement to the district for all expenses incurred under the agreement.
Second.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion?
Just comment, I just think it's it's a phenomenal offering. I think that so many folks who have had an interest in, and it garners so much out of an individual. Doesn't mean you're going to go into theater necessarily, but certainly matches our strategic plan beautifully, so thank you.
Thank you.
I made the motion, so you know I'm in support of it, but I would just say that I think that the Kingswood Theater Program is such an outstanding example of something that we do very well in this district, and I think that anything we can do to support a theater program like the Kingswood Summer Theater is something that we should make every effort to ensure that they keep going. It would be such a shame to lose this within our communities, and it serves kids from all over the district and not just Wolfeboro.
Any other comments? Yes, Tom?
First, I want to recuse myself from vote on this, but is there anybody here from Kingswood Children's Center Theater that wants to speak to it?
I was going to ask that if we had someone. Is there anyone who we should be asking to questions of? Or?
We do have, that's up to you. We do have Delina Bickford here and Scott Hughes, who has been working with us.
So what is the relationship to Kingswood Children's Summer Theater?
Delina Bickford is the executive director.
All right. Would you like to speak, Delina?
Sure.
Go right ahead.
So for those of you that don't know, Kingswood Children's Summer Theater has done probably, I think we're at like 53 shows. The program was originally started by Natalie Erickson and Ray Lord, and there was a gentleman that was at the time running summer stuff for the district, and he was also, I believe his name was Tom, and he was also very instrumental in helping them to get it going. We used to do the shows in the old art center, or the old auditorium, so we've been doing it for some time. Pretty much the students are from the district that are in the program. The program is for age 6 They have to have finished kindergarten first before they can be in the program for that summer, and then to age 18. And they learn all aspects of theater. They have an art room that they do help to create sets and art projects for, and we create art projects especially for the younger ones, teaching about stage directions and different things. We dive into the story of whatever the show is that we're doing. So it's all kinds of great things. They do theater games. We have a snack time, and then and it basically runs from 8:30 to noon. And it has been in the art center. And then we have shows. It starts right after school is finished, and then we have shows at the end of that month. So we put together a show with, I don't know, 50 to 70 students in a month, which is pretty impressive. And the kids have a great time doing it. So.
Thank you, Mrs. Bickford. Would you take any questions from board members? If they have
Sure,
them?
if anybody has any questions for me, absolutely.
Do any board members have questions for Mrs. Bickford? Seeing none, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion or questions from the board? Scott, would you like to say something?
Sure. I will keep it uncharacteristically brief. Simply to say that I think this is a fantastic idea, and I thank Dr. Arkalian for getting this forwarded to this moment. The summer theater program, the Children's Summer Theater program, is absolutely outstanding. It's the exact thing that we built the Kingswood Arts Center for. And I think anything we can do to keep it moving through, you know, financially speaking, it can be very difficult to keep a program like this running year after year after year after year. And if we can help it get through this little rough patch, absolutely, I believe we should. Even beyond helping the feeder program to the high school, you know, I've seen this program run firsthand, and it's absolutely fantastic. And I hope we can help it continue. Thank you.
Scott, is there any further comments or questions?
I just want to thank you both and Dr. Arkalian in combination with what we saw earlier, making this the most heartwarming school board meeting that we've had. Yeah, I'm really happy this is happening.
Excellent.
There's a motion on the floor.
There is a motion on the floor. Is there any further questions or comments? Seeing none, Kathy, if you could call the roll once you're ready, please.
Tom?
Abstain?
Kirsten? Yes. Kayla?
Yes.
Dr. Jim?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Dr. Beth?
Yes.
Danielle?
Yes.
Nate?
Yes.
Brody?
Aye. So the motion passes 9-0. So is there?
801.
Oh, 801 would be, oh yeah, Tom. I'm sorry. Tom abstained. 801 with Tom abstaining. Is there something I need to sign or?
No, not yet.
We'll
Not
let
yet.
the.
Okay. No, I'll see my email. Oh yeah, it has to be reviewed. Thank you.
And actually, I think
So we'll move to the Carpenter School update. Again, the floor is yours, Dr. Intercom.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I can project that far. Thank you. So I have the Carpenter School update as a separate agenda item. There's not a report as of yet from Bannon. I will share that with you once they give the report for this month. However, this is a special time because phase 1, they are on track to complete by March 1st. So that is coming right up. We had another walkthrough a couple weeks ago, and they assured us that they're on track for that completion for phase 1, which includes the first floor and second floor of that one long hallway. The first floor extends all the way to the cafeteria, and the second floor includes the main office and the front entrance. So needless to say, everyone is very excited. Our next step is to meet with the staff members who are in the modulars, the 2 second grade teachers, because we need to talk about a transition for second grade to come back into the building. And there are many steps to that because There are some people in classrooms who need to move to the newly finished phase 1, and then modular staff come into those rooms. And it involves custodians, facilities, and then it also involves time for the staff members to set up their rooms and related services to happen all around them. So we're looking forward to that transition. That's phase 1 to complete by March 1st. And then phase 2 is scheduled to begin this summer. And that's when they're finishing the rest of the building. That includes the gym and the rest of the first and second floor. So that would include the library, some staff areas, restrooms, and additional classrooms upstairs. So that's part of phase 2. So we'll work with the other staff later in the spring.
Are there any questions for Dr. Arkelian from Carpenter School? All right, seeing none, we'll go to deliberative review.
Thank you. We historically have deliberative review as an agenda item under superintendent's report at this meeting, the February meeting, to share the results of the deliberative session. And I'm happy to share that the board unanimously supported passed all articles, including the petition warrant article, after a slight amendment. So all of those articles will be on the ballot. And all of that information is posted on our website, along with the actual presentation from deliberative and the list of all the candidates who are running for office. Thank you. That concludes my report, unless there are questions.
Any questions about deliberative? I have a question. You were there.
I was there. Just for the public, Dr. Arkelian, can residents now find potential tax impacts and other information on our website so that they can see for themselves what to expect when they see the ballot?
Yes.
Great, thank you so much.
Death and taxes. We'll get to sureties. All right, we'll move on to my chairperson's report. Correspondence. I have no correspondence this month, but I do want to share the board's deep appreciation for Kayla Hewitt, and her term is ending in March. She did not sign up to run again. We're disappointed, but we have great candidates who are going to be on the ballot that the public can support or support of public education. But I want to thank you, Kayla, for your service. I know it was only a year, but you were very productive and a helpful board member, collaborative, and I want to hopefully see you back on this board one day, but I know you have other competing things that you do for our district on the PTOs and other involvement in clubs and activities that are supportive of children in the district and the district itself. So thank you, and I know your service, it's not over, it's just different. So thank you. So stay tuned for the March meeting, it might be a surprise.
I'm afraid.
No, it's good.
Okay.
It's a token of gratitude. Floor is yours, Dr. Bell, for committee reports. We'll start with academic affairs.
Thank you. And the best one of the session is always a first read. So for these new policies, academic affairs recently met. And so you have 3 blocks that we will go through in turn. The first block will be policies that we're recommending for reaffirmation. Again, this is first read, so we can discuss them together. They would advance to the second read if the board decides to do that, where they could be adopted at our next meeting, but none of these are getting voted on for adoption or reaffirmation tonight. So I'll just read through the whole block, and then if there's discussion, we'll have time for that. Policies for reaffirmation tonight are DDA, the Wood Estate Expendable Trust Fund, DGA, authorized signatures, DH, bonded employees and officers, DIA, fund balances, DIH, fraud prevention and fiscal management, DK, payments, checks, and manifests, and DM, cash in school buildings.
So I'll take a motion to move this block for reaffirmation to second read.
Make that motion.
We don't need to make.
Oh, there are
It's-
no motions with, I always
it's-
forget that, I'm
it's
so
just for a
sorry.
second.
Okay, any discussion on the reaffirmation policies? I have some comments, but if folks want to kick us off, that's great. Okay, so for DDA, the Wood Estate Expendable Trust, we had a robust discussion about this in committee. And Tom asked specifically for the business administrator, Richie, has a chance to provide the board with a list of what we have funded in the past. And so that should be coming to you for your next board packet when we would be adopting this policy going forward. One thing to note is that in DDA, so when we fund Wood Estate Trust requests, typically we have this dance where we go, well, have we spent X dollars because we have to reserve, Y dollars for the scholarship fund for Kingswood. And actually the way the policy is written right now, it's backwards. It says if there's leftover funds after all the other things have been, accommodated, then we would give money to Kingswood High School for scholarships. It's not actually carved out in here presently as like a given. So I kind of think we should do that since that's our practice, or we should follow the policy. So that's something I'd be very interested in the board's input on and how you feel about making the scholarships more of a guaranteed thing, even though that's been our behavior, sort of for many years.
I have a thought, but I'll let other people go first. Mary, you see that?
Oh, you're entertaining discussion now.
Yeah,
Okay.
for this one.
I'm curious when, at some point it became the norm. Is there any anecdotal record of how that happened? No?
The Wood Trust has always been done the way it's been doing it.
Yeah.
And it's odd because we surreptitiously set aside funds for the scholarships. At the beginning of the process, it may not be formal, but I think it would be wise to make it formal.
I agree.
I was just going to say, I think it could be the purpose of holding that later is because scholarships could just grow and grow and grow and grow. And I think the purpose of this is so that requests for larger items like trips and Camp Invention are at the beginning of the year, and then anything remaining, then it can be used for scholarships. Because scholarships, it could be, it could just, you could have any number of scholarships.
It's almost always the same though, right?
It has been.
Yeah.
Dr. Hills?
Yeah, I have, and I can share it, I thought,
It's in a folder that can be shared.
yes, so we can share this, I know it's not hit send, but we have, going back until 2018, some data, and at that point, the amount that was given was to those scholarships was substantially less. In 2008, we gave 4 $1,000 scholarships. In 2019, it was 5 $1,000 scholarships, and it wasn't, and then we did for several years during COVID, and then starting in 2022, we were giving 10, 11, 10, 10 $1,000 scholarships.
Okay.
I have a comment. I have 2 comments, I should say. First is, I don't think it's necessary to put in policy, judging by, one, what we just heard, but even thought before, how we allocate this money, because we may change our mind, and then it would require us to have to update our policy if we change our mind. And I feel as if that's additional hoops that we would put the board through to, if it decided to not allocate that money, disperse it from the trust in this way, it would require us to have a first and a second read and then a vote of the entire board, or to suspend our own rules. My second comment is ensuring that in how we set up not just process, but how we disperse the funds, it remaining to the donor intent, because that's extremely important with the New Hampshire AG's charitable trust unit. that we can't be putting additional restrictions on ourselves or on how these funds are dispersed if it's not in line with donor intent. So we have to even make sure, I want us to make sure before we were to update the policy with specific restrictions and what we can disperse the money on, that it meets what the trust has given us the money for.
Yeah, what a great point. And you can see at the beginning that the Wood State Expendable Trust Fund shall be used exclusively for the payment of student scholarships, academic aid to graduating students, student field trips, and guest speakers at the school to enrich its programs. So clearly, those scholarships are well within the intention of the donors who originally established the fund.
No, I agree. There might be additional things with what the estate provided us and how we have to handle the money or how we have to disperse it.
Are there additional restrictions that you're aware of?
No, I have a list of all of the trusts and their intent, and actually Barbara Lobdell went ahead and really, when she took over trustee of the trust fund for the town of Wolfeboro, which is where all of all of Governor Wentworth's trusts reside in, separate accounts, but through the trustee of trust fund with Wolfeboro. She went back to, she even had a few meetings with us. She was trying to gather information if she didn't have the correct information or enough. And she went to the state and obtained all of that information that she needed and then shared with us as well, so that we have all, as much as we can, the intent for how in which the trusts are supposed to be used for.
So can I ask Kathy then? So we know what we're allowed to expend monies for, but is there any restriction in how we expend other than the 3% fund balance restriction?
That's basically my point, Brody, is that the behavior of the board doesn't align with how the process is currently outlined in this policy. So we expend the funds, but then it says any monies remaining by June 1 will be dispersed in a post-secondary educational scholarship to be recommended by the guidance department at Kingswood Regional High School. But we're withholding money on purpose when we have requests coming in and thinking about them in light of this desire to provide scholarship funds.
So we should just stop doing that.
Yes.
Not change the policy.
Yeah, not change the policy. We should just, if that's if the intent of the policy is, because and that's what I mean, because there's more to what the Wood Estate Trust was established for. Sorry, there's more potential donor intent requirements beyond just this quoted clause in the purpose statement. And I'm wondering if we should, to meet the intent of the trust, not be withholding money, that when people come to us with a need, we're expected to expend the money if it meets the trust's purpose.
That's fine.
That's your decision.
My opinion is that the scholarships are a worthy and important part of why the Wood Estate Trust was funded, and I think it helps the high school have reasonable expectations of what they think they're going to get at the end of the year for students, and so that they can plan for these things, and students may rely upon those gifts. And so I would recommend to my fellow board members that we put something in the policy that says that we would earmark a certain number of those scholarships every year.
I would suggest that we take this back to committee and that we get a copy of the actual Wood Expendable Trust. And take a look at that and compare it with the policy and then come back to the board.
Okay. I don't think we have to, you want to remove it from the block? You just want to talk about it again at Act Affairs? You can have another.
We can bring that to the full board if you like.
What's the advantage to bring it to the full board if we haven't amended it?
Typically, it's already at the full board level. You can certainly bring things back when it's at the full board level. If the full board is having this consideration at first read, we can bring that to you at second read, and then you make edits. So that's why you have the opportunity for first and second read, but that's your
I think
decision.
at second read, the board should determine whether it wants to amend the policy further, refer it back to committee, or pass the policy as has been in its current language since 2023.
You might find that the Wood Estate, that the policy aligns with what the trust says.
Yeah.
And so it might be a moot point.
Right.
And so I would need to push it back to committee to go all the way through it again.
I think on this one, having the full board's input is helpful
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, there's 3 choices the board can make, so.
Okay, we'll make sure you have that information.
So can we get a copy of the,
Yes,
Trust.
yeah, sorry, the superintendent said she'll make sure that we get that information, if it's available. I assume the Wolfeboro trustees of the trust fund have
it's at
that
probate court,
information.
nothing else.
What was that?
It's at probate court, nothing else.
For sure, and probably the charitable trust unit. Okay.
Any further discussion of policies in the reaffirmation block? Great, okay, so we'll move on. The next block are policies for revision. They include DBJ, transfer of appropriation, DFGA, crowdfunding, DIE, morbidly named audit annual review, DJE, bidding requirements, DKB, preschool payment policy, DN, district properties sales disposition, IMBA, remote learning, JFABD, admission of homeless students, JLCE, first aid and emergency medical care. Any discussion in this block? I have some comments, but I'm happy to. Yeah.
I got a question on the first one.
Hold on, Nate, I'm sorry, Ms. Kirsten.
Sorry, go ahead.
DFGA, the crowdfunding.
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify what we're considering, any class or extracurricular program, because in instances like for the Kingswood Football Boosters, we're our own 501c3, but the funds that we're raising do go to support an extracurricular activity. So,
yeah,
would we fall?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not, it's on behalf of the district, but not necessarily for the benefit of the district. So because those entities are separate, they can do things that are into the benefit of the district if they wish to, but they're not doing it representing themselves as part of the district.
So that they can have much more freedom.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my only question.
Yeah, it's like the difference between the Otter Run that Crescent Lake School hosts, that they, you know, when the crowdfunding, it gets paid to, you know, whatever crowdfunding site that the principal is operating or whatever designated person versus nonprofit crowdfunding, raising money for the nonprofit to support its mission, which is supporting, you know, that specific, you know, Kingswood Athletic.
So if we're accepting donations at a football game on school property on behalf of our...
Yes, Kathy?
The easiest way to understand this is if your federal ID number is not the school district's. So if you have your own federal ID number, you are not part of the school district, and that's where the money goes.
Yeah.
So
That's the same for the PTOs that are their own thing versus one that was like run by the district would be a different thing.
Okay,
Great difference.
So thank you.
I'd like to draw your attention to policy DIE. We had a long discussion about this, and the Finance Committee might be surprised to know that for policy, you all have been meant to write a written report related to the annual audit every year, which I found surprising. So we have made a suggestion that's slightly different to that, and I'd be happy to hear the Finance Committee's input on this revision.
Yeah, so obviously, there's an annual written report that's placed into the annual district report.
Right.
What I'll flag though is that I'm going to be scheduling a meeting of the Finance Committee. I'm hoping before the March school board meeting for us to review the audit. If it will, the audit won't be ready then? Okay.
It has to be ready by the 31st for the federal clearinghouse. After that, it will be available.
31st of March?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so then probably then maybe before April board meeting, before April or May board meeting is when we'll do that review. So. I have no comments other than that.
Yeah, so for DBJ, I just wondered if there's any like explanation why we went from 5 to 10. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with that. I just wanted to know.
Did you say D? I'm sorry.
Line item
DBJ,
Yeah.
transfer of appropriation? That
Yeah,
one?
from 5 to 10,000.
J is because it's a very small number for a budget this size.
Sure.
It's just to make it more feasible.
This was requested previously, right, in the last school board policy session, and we did not revise that amount.
So we got the 5,000 last time?
We did, and committee also talked about this too, like, we hear it on both sides. The sample is very old from the New Hampshire School Board Association, and it's still at 5,000, but, I mean, everything's more expensive these days, so, I mean,
Yeah,
maybe you're all comfortable at 10, maybe you want to suggest a different number that could help Kathy out, but it's not 10, it's whatever you think. Yeah?
So I requested this when I was on the Academic Affairs Committee. And I don't know how many people were on the board when we did adopted it in January and then amended it the following February. I know at least Tom, were you on the board? No.
In 2024?
Yeah.
I don't think I was present for this meeting.
But I know Tom was there, and we wanted a transfer of appropriation policy because we were interested as a board in the budget process and how money transfers between lines and to understand budget impacts. But at the January meeting, the number amount was amended to 20,000. And then at the February meeting, we made a motion to reconsider and changed it back to what NHSBA had at 5,000. And now it seems as if 10,000 is what we want after implementing this policy for a couple of years. But
Remembering that discussion, I say the 5,000 is an appropriate one.
okay, I'm indifferent to 5,000 or 10,000. I'm just surprised, Tom, because you were on it. Did the committee have a vote on this specific dollar figure? Was the committee?
The committee did not suggest this dollar figure. This was suggested by the SAU.
But the committee recommended this policy.
Come to the board for discussion.
Does
This
it-
is at the request of the SAU.
So does the committee agree with this change?
Our discussion, what you and I, we talked about it, I think we landed at 7,500. But we would like to hear the whole board's feedback on this.
Oh.
Maybe I'm mistaken, but I thought one reason why we were discussing it that way is because we've heard, especially if we're talking about speech therapy, which is just a particularly expensive service, which we've seen a lot. And I think that when that's come up at full board meetings, people will be like, why do we have to do this every time? But maybe that's not a huge concern for folks. I'm just throwing that out there, that like we go over 5,000 often.
I'm always the one that's like, every time I see that transfer. And it's not because we have to see it and do it every time. It's because we're spending so much money on services outside of the district that's killing me. That's not the transfer process.
The intent, as I understand it, of giving the board notice of transfers from one account to a different account at the amount of $5,000. We don't see this because it doesn't happen that often. That's why we're not seeing a whole lot of reports. But what it does do, it allows the board, as part of our review of how money is being spent, to see, oh, well, we're moving quite a bit of money out of this account that it was budgeted for. Should we be budgeting more for that account? Should we be budgeting more for the account that it's being transferred to and less to the account that it's being transferred out? It's just to keep us aware of where things may be better allocated.
Yeah, I'm not questioning that. I thought we were talking about the number amount. But actually, since you do bring that up, Tom, like that's like the transfers I've seen have been from nearly identical line to nearly identical line.
As someone who was very supportive of this transfers of appropriation policy, the only thing I see are transfers between special education lines in the 320 series.
which we will always have, just based on the nature of there's an IEP process, needs are a fluid thing. We never have enough special ed money thanks to our lovely state and federal government. So, but yeah, so I mean, I don't know, I don't have strong feelings about 5 versus 10.
I don't have.
But I think between 5 and 10 is unavoidable, probably.
I mean,
Not me
Kathy,
anyway.
you may know the answer to this. How many times have we transferred money between different series? Have you ever had to come to the board to transfer maybe out of the 200 series for
We
salaries?
don't touch the 200, so,
No.
no, that's a firm.
But
no.
I guess my question, between
300,
series,
yeah.
do we
Yeah.
ever
Yeah.
transfer between series and
Yeah.
when it comes to the board though?
And it's special education, so it might be taking it out of tuition line and putting it into the professional services, the 300 object code line.
But
Those are the places.
But that seems to just be in that one line in our budget for 320. All of that, when we're moving between the lines.
I've been watching them all for the last few years because you put this into place, and it's mainly the 300 object code, but it's been tuition as well.
Okay.
Out of tuition and into the 300.
So I guess my position is that how we review the budget, and what we decide to appropriate, that bottom line number for that 300 series, it won't necessarily impact the budgetary decisions we're making at a board level, which I thought it would when I advocated for this policy, but it just tells you, this special education cost has increased and this one hasn't increased as much, but we don't get granular in the special education budget looking at, for example, speech pathologist, money that we appropriate for speech pathologist services at the middle school versus another related special education cost. And those are the majority of the transfers in line. So I start to wonder, is this policy achieving its purpose? And I'm starting to question about whether or not that actually is the case, if it's actually helping us in our budgetary process. Because I feel, having served on the finance committee and reviewed these appropriations, it's not, the information I'm receiving from these transfer appropriation requests are not having an impact on the budgetary decisions we're making. It's letting us know that there's a lot of transfer between special education lines, which is great, but that doesn't change our budgetary process where we need to appropriate.
Just to piggyback off of what you're saying, a lot of them have been from the same object code at the elementary level, the middle school level, and the high school level. It's just been same object code, just different levels, because we do have to budget in the different levels of education. So
Yes.
if you wanted to curtail that policy to say if you're crossing over an object code.
Yes, and that I could, but I just wondered, because if we're speech pathology from the elementary school to the high school, well, we still need to still appropriate the same amount for a speech pathologist. So I wonder if this policy is even only necessary anymore.
I would say, yes, it is. And I base this on quite a bit of research I've been doing on what we should be doing in reviewing expenditures beyond the presentation we received 3 days in November. Financial School Board Association would say that we should be looking monthly at disbursements and seeing how things are dispersed. Part of our job is not only to set the budget, but to oversee the budget and make sure things are being spent. We're supposed to be able to say, is X amount being paid out of the appropriations that were supposed to be paid out of? Is it coming from somewhere else? Why is it coming from somewhere else? And if we're making, it begs the question, okay, things are coming primarily for speech pathology, but it begs the question, if we haven't had an increase in students needing speech pathology between, such as students moving up from the elementary school, why do we need to transfer that? And that would be a question. That would be a question as to have the fees going up, the costs going up. Why is there transfers being made without a related increase in the student body that you would expect to need?
I think, to Tom's point, I think the board has a duty to be well informed about the way that money is moving through the budget throughout the year and informing ourselves. The manifests are huge and not always easy to review in a timely fashion. Seeing the transfer requests helps me as a board member understand where we're spending a lot and how we are, making sure that we're meeting needs as the year fluctuates, and particularly in special education where it has the most capacity to move. I find them helpful. I can understand from your perspective why a higher threshold would be less work on the back end. But I appreciate seeing them. I don't think we should do away with the policy. I'm fairly agnostic about the amount.
My only comment is I certainly completely agree with the budgetary oversight. And when this policy was originally adopted, we didn't get the same financial reporting every month that we now get from Kathy Oblinus. And in reviewing those reports, I feel like that's a way more comprehensive and better picture of the district's financials than seeing individual transfers of appropriations. I think the key thing with the transfers of appropriations is it's providing an authority to the board to deny an appropriation it doesn't agree with or to approve when it does. You shake your head, Tom, but that's the whole point of the policy. There might be,
No. Are you saying that we look at a transfer and we say, no, we're not going to do it?
That's the point of the policy.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
The point of the policy is to see over the course of the year what things have been moved and on a relative basis and ask questions at the time that the move is being made, which are legitimate questions to ask.
But we could deny it. Before this policy existed, we had no ability to deny an approval, to deny a transfer appropriation. Now, with this policy, we do.
Well, is it your understanding that we made this up out of whole cloth?
No, I advocated for this policy.
Right, it came from the New Hampshire School Board.
As an optional policy, with the purpose of reviewing line item transfers and approving or denying if we think it doesn't have merit to deny it, and if we think it does to approve it. And I question whether or not providing ourselves with that authority has actually borne the fruits when we get a much more comprehensive financial report, which is really what it seems like the board desired, is a comprehensive monthly financial report, and a look at how the lines are changing and how the expenditures are changing. So I am just questioning, because things have changed and transparency has increased from the administration, if they need to come to us and ask our approval for every single line item transfer beyond $10,000. And maybe the board's still currently 5, but if revised by the board at the next meeting, 10,000. I'm just calling, again, this is me arguing against what I advocated for in 2024 now that I have seen the policy implemented and I have learned more and I have received better financial reporting, and I feel as if the policy might not be wholly necessary.
Are you asking for this policy not to advance to second reading?
No, I'm just, because we're having discussion now, I'm just discussing it like everyone else has, and maybe I'll have a motion at the next meeting, maybe I won't, but.
Okay. Yeah.
It would seem to me that which you all generated worked, and so it's not broken. Just carry on.
Are there any other discussion about this block for revision?
I got one more.
Sure.
I was just asking about 5 to 10, but it was a good spirited discussion. It's good. I'm wondering about the first aid and emergency medical care.
Yes, JLCE.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if, so did we take this from, I don't see a change, but I am surprised to see, as an EMT, I'm surprised to see that oxygen is in there, because it's not generally, it's used to be given at every, medical aid, but I'm interested, I don't know, it seems weird that it's in there, and I don't believe our nurses carry or have oxygen in this, so I think it's weird that it's in the policy, that's all.
Actually, that's not part of the revision, so that's always been in it's been in the policy since, this was a New Hampshire School Board Association policy, and that is aligned with their language.
Okay.
Our primary changes were to include
The blue sections.
yes, anything in blue there is new. Thank you, Taylor, for your suggestion about stuff that we need. Or is that not you? Well, whoever suggested things. But yeah, no, That's an interesting point, really.
We did have this reviewed by the nurses.
And
You did? Okay.
by the nurses,
Yes,
yes,
yep.
yeah. Yeah, it does, in this paragraph here, administering oxygen to students without prior notification of parents or guardians. But that's not part of what we were revising this round.
Is there already?
It was already present. We haven't nebulizers for asthma, these other blue sections. Which are also a member of the SBA. All right. Any other discussion? Thank you. And the final policy for tonight? Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. DIE annual audit review.
Yes.
This is one that, I'm thinking.
DIE. Morbidly named.
So annual audit review. This is a change from the New Hampshire School Board Association. New Hampshire School, what it says, the books and accounts of the district shall be audited yearly. The superintendent and business administrator shall select the auditors. The audit to be conducted will meet basic audit procedures prescribed by CPA standards, and it will be made in accordance with RSA 197:25. The annual audit of the government of regional school districts financial statements shall be reviewed by the finance committee, who will provide a summary on or it used to be a written report. Now it's been changed to a summary on the audit to the full school board. Previous to this, it was, well, in the law, the school board would appoint the auditors based on the superintendent and business administrators, their recommendation of the auditors. Also, it says the audit will be made in accordance with RSA 197:25. That just directs the board or the superintendent to provide the board with elected auditors if we haven't hired one. So we have hired auditors. And so that brings us to a statute that's referenced in 197:25, and that's how is the audit done. And that is 21-J19 audit. And
Yep, that's in the legal reference list at the bottom as well.
it is, but the reality is it should be added to,
Are you looking at this in?
should be added to the first paragraph. And then from the law, which is 21:J-19, a written or printed report of every completed audit shall be made to the superintendent and school board, including a summary of the findings and recommendations of the auditors, and a copy of such summary shall be published in the next annual report following the fiscal year in which the audit was completed.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think this language should be included. If you want to delegate to the financial committee, that's fine, but I think it's important for people to know that the board itself is supposed to get a copy of the full audit.
Do you want to suggest that as a potential revision to the SAU to be presented for second reading?
Okay.
Would that mean Tom has a suggested revision? Yeah, so if we could share it with the rest of the board so they can read it and think about it for the next discussion. Okay. Is
that okay for everybody?
Yep, so send my suggestions to you, Carolyn,
Yes.
and then you
Share
send it
with
to
the
the
board?
board. Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion about this block? It's a good night, everybody. Okay, last block, very short. DFE royalties. This policy is being suggested for a withdrawal. Apparently, we don't generate any royalties. Shocking. The committee has, however, because I do it for my day job, suggested that the SAU investigate a potential policy on intellectual property so that we're clear and transparent with our staff about how intellectual property is handled within our district as an employer. So that will be maybe coming soon. Not in this one. Any other final words? Great. Thank you, everybody, for your time. That concludes the academic. Oh, well, almost. Sorry. I did want to also mention that in our Academic Affairs Committee meeting, Dr. Hills kindly presented us with new course proposals for next year, and we're excited to see that there will be new courses offered in competitive robotics and engineering at the high school, advanced placement, business and personal finance for grades 10 through 12, and a game design and development class. I can feel my very young son excited for the future. Anyhow, so just wanted to let you know that that was happening and something to look forward to, particularly for our high school students. And thank you for your attention. That now concludes the academic affairs report.
Thank you, Dr. Beth. Next, we have buildings and maintenance. Dr. Manning, do you have anything to report?
All I would like to say is that I went on the tour in December.
Do you want the mic?
No, it's all right. And what those people are doing is an amazing event.
St. Carpenter?
Ballard Corporation.
When you see the stuff that the guy, the chair, I don't know what it is.
The superintendent, Dan.
Yeah. He's got, all right. He's got a great view of what's done. The improvements he's making in the ceiling are astonishing. When you see it, when you walk in, it's a whole new experience when you walk into the office. And we're getting really a lot of bang for the buck, and a lot of people don't realize when we're changing out the lighting, we have no choice because they don't have that lighting anymore. So we're going to all LED, and we're going to cut our utility costs by probably 40%. That's not a bad number. But like I said, I will say this, the artistry that guy is putting into this is something beyond. It looks like it was turned of the century. You know, it looks 100 years old, but it's brand new. When they finish it, everybody should be proud of what it turned out to be. One question for you, Carolyn.
Yes.
Any report on the appeal to Primex, Kathy?
Nothing to report yet.
Yeah, because the other students starting to fall down. So maybe we get Primex to pony up a little more money, it wouldn't hurt.
We continue to monitor that.
Yeah.
What's the appeal we're talking about?
The Primex has limited our phase 2 process by saying that they're not really responsible for the ceilings that are collapsing. So we're going to appeal. There was a range. They said, how much was the cat? Like 3 inches?
It's dropped even more. He's keeping track of it and taking pictures. They haven't touched the ceiling.
I mean, if we wait long enough, the ceiling's going to come down all by itself. So the rest of the Primex would be very paying for it. It'd be nice to be able to keep Bowen working and not have them disappear for a while because they didn't get paid. But no, if anybody has any appeal with the Primex, let us know. We'd like to be able to get them to come point up a little money because that city's going to go. When I go, it's going to be the same bill as before. All set.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Jim. Tom, you have a question for Dr. Jim?
Dr. Jim or Caroline?
Yeah.
Thank you. Mayor, so the insurance company is saying it's not going to cover as much as we would expect them to because things are failing. Is there an anticipation that we're going to have to make repairs, that the school district is going to be, have to make out of its general funds because the insurance company won't pay for them?
Currently, the entire project is completely budgeted and allocated for. I think what Dr. Jim is referring to is that we do have some portions of the building that we're repairing because we're required to by the town for code, because the whole front section is 100 years old. However, when Primex came in and they measured the ceilings in all the rooms in the 100-year-old section, they only determined that they would cover some of the rooms based on the measurement of how far the ceiling had fallen. In some of the rooms, it only fell a little bit, so they determined, well, there isn't a loss there, so we won't be covering those rooms at this time. However, over the course of the past 6 months or more, those have fallen even farther. So what Bowen is explaining to us, and what we're watching very carefully, is that in those rooms, when they fall that far, we're calling Primex, we're in touch with them to come back and remeasure some of those rooms. So there are a few that we may be reimbursed for that haven't originally been on the list. And we're paying for this project in 3 parts. The first part was from the Building and Maintenance Trust that the board approved last June. The second part, basically a third, is from Primex. And the last third is budgeted in the next fiscal year.
Okay, thank you.
That's why phase 2 is in the summer.
So we have appropriated in our current budget and through the Buildings and Maintenance Trust Fund and in what we've budgeted for in our default and our operating budget, we have all the money. The question is, how much is Primex going to reimburse us beyond what they've already helped pay for?
Correct.
Okay, so we're basically asking Primex to have us pay less and then pay more because the insurance should cover it. Should cover it.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
If they didn't adjust the reimbursement and we had an additional catastrophic failure in Carpenter in those ceiling areas that are not being replaced, we would be eligible to file another claim still?
I think it would be part of the same claim.
It would become part of the
because
same
they're
claim.
we're watching them
Okay.
technically be part of the same claim.
Okay.
But they're just telling us what they will cover and what they won't cover.
It would be better for all of us, all around, I would think, if they would just tuck it into this one.
Cover it, let's tuck it in.
And do it now, yeah, okay. Well, fingers crossed.
And every ceiling is being touched in some way in that entire building, in some fashion, whether it's lighting or complete demolition, removal, and new safety ceiling, new drop ceiling, new lighting. Every room is being renovated in some way, shape, or form.
In the 25
Yeah.
section.
Even the new lighting in the new part.
I think I can take the liberty on behalf of the board that when we get updates on the Carpenter School project, that those reports we get from Bowen, we can also get an update on the appeal to Primex, or if there is no update, to let us know.
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to the community relations, Mr. Williams.
I don't have much of an update because we weren't able to meet between last meeting and this one, so we do have to schedule another meeting for that.
Perfect, thank you. Finance Committee, my update is that our budget was unchanged and all of the appropriations we requested were unchanged at the deliberative session. The board has made a 9-0 recommendation on each warrant article, including the petition one to Article 12. And we would like the public to support all the articles as presented on the warrant, especially the budget, which is less than the default budget. So if you vote no, the taxes will go up more, and if you vote yes, they won't go up as much.
Freddie, can you explain that? Why
Explain.
Why is the default more than
The default budget.
It's in the PowerPoint.
Yeah, it's in the PowerPoint, but default budget, that's in RSA, what, 40:13 or 14? Anyways, it's in the chapter 40 statute, but default budget is prescribed by law that it's the same appropriations as the year before with certain adjustments made to meet existing contractual obligations. So we still have existing contractual obligations that are increasing cost, or things like special education services where we have contracts provide those services. So what we're presenting has additional reductions in other places in the budget that are not contractual services that are less than what would be appropriated in the default budget. So the board has asked, compared to what the default budget calculation is as required by law, has said we actually want you to approve a budget that is a lesser appropriation based on how we've budgeted in different cost savings and efficiencies that we've been able to create in presenting this new budget.
Thank you very much for that explanation.
All right, we'll go to human resources. When's our meeting with the?
Do we have that scheduled yet?
Yeah, it is. It's Tuesday. What's the date next?
March 3rd, is it?
No, it's next week. We have, I'll find the exact date,
It's
but
February
Oh, February 9th. It's a week after.
February 9th, the Human Resources Committee is meeting a second time with representatives from each union to discuss exploring healthcare options, as the district has instructed the Human Resources Committee to do it. What was it, our November,
Sorry,
October meeting?
Yes, and just to clarify, it's not the full HR committee. It's not a committee meeting, it's only.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm representing the HR committee.
Healthcare options working meeting, February 9th.
That's right. So,
Representatives from each group.
So I'm representing our HR committee, who was asked to engage with our unions to look at healthcare options. So we now have a small working group of folks exploring essentially 3 different options: risk pools, of which there are 2 health pools, brokerage or self-insurance, and to determine if there's some kind of pathway forward, and if so, what path we want to choose and how we want to go about it. So I will report back to the HR committee, but presumably I don't think we'll meet, so we'll probably just report back to the entire board about those discussions as we continue working. Any kind of decisions that are made at that working group will flow back to the HR committee and then flow up to the board. So if for some reason we say, hey, we're leaning towards going to a broker after all exploring it together, that would be a broader discussion the HR committee would have, and then a discussion that the board would have. So February 9th, I'll be meeting with our unions, and then this process will continue, and it'll get a full committee review and full board review, but I don't anticipate any of that stuff happening for a while. I think we're going to have a few meetings of this working group to determine what we want to explore, if we even want to explore. So, and non-committee reports. Mary, WCTV.
Thank you. The WCTV annual meeting was on January 21st. The executive director presented his report reflecting on the successes of and achievements of 2025, challenges as well, but all achievements, and goals for 2026 and sustainability going forward. Other than the WCTV board guests included the superintendent, Dr. Eric Kellyan, Dr. Hills, and volunteers. So it was very well represented for the strengths in the partnership, the increase of content with what the station exists, which is PEG, public education, and all of government relative to public access. One of the expressions that I've come upon lately is in transparency is trust. And I think Dr. Eric Kellyan gave some really good examples of the kinds of opportunities folks have if you can't be present. there are ways to revisit, review fast motion, slow motion, stop and rewind, all these very important community events. So I'm pleased to give that report to the board, and don't ask me any questions. Thank you.
Closing activities, advanced planning. Future meeting dates, there's no school, future meeting dates and events. February break is scheduled for February 23rd through the 27th. School board meeting will have at Crescent Lake School on March 9th. And March 10th, there is no school, but there's an in-service staff day and district voting at the second session at your respective polling places. And you can see gwrsd.org/calendar for more current event details subject to change. Next we have public input, 15 minutes, 3 minutes per individual, unless extended by the board. I ask that folks please be respectful, no directing comments at others in the crowd, to please direct their comments to the board. Any public comment?
Okay. No, I'm not public. But
Yeah, you're not, sorry guys, you aren't public.
I have a question about the event, or not a question, comment about events.
If there's is there any public input? Going once?
I'll
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
stuck from here without a mic because most of you have not been using a mic and it's really hard to hear. Please, please look into lapel mics or something. It's making me crazy after years of coming to these meetings, and it's the same thing every time. And you know I'm not a complainer. I usually am over and above proud of the work that our board does, and I am proud of the work that you do, and I would love for people to be able to hear it. Just a poet. Wolfeboro.
All right. We'll have to get better mics for Wolfeboro.
Any mic. Any mic.
Anywhere.
Any other public input? Seeing none. Danielle, you want to go back to the advanced planning?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle.
Okay, yes, thank you for the reminder. So I just want to highlight empty bowls, and I know it was mentioned earlier, but that's coming up Valentine's Day weekend. Is it the 13th?
Yes.
So that was my first time going was last year, so I just hope that people show up for that.
What time is it at?
That's a great question. 5
to 7, I think.
5 to 7 sounds right.
I think it is 5 to 7. I just couldn't remember. Do you have any answer?
Yeah.
5 to 7? All right.
Thanks,
5 to
Mike.
7. All right. And with that, is it about?
It's about what Ms. Hoas said.
Give her a mic.
Sorry. Yeah, we're done with public input and advanced planning. Is it brief?
You know, may I please share that, and this isn't piggybacking with the Community Relations Committee that did come up, the issue of sound in respective spaces and the microphones that are unique to each location. So it has come to the board or the committee to that effect, and we've had discussions very recently with the superintendent about how we can address that. So thank you for that input, and it's real. Part of the microphones is so that the listening audience can pick it up through the television and WCTV, but the aspect of the arenas themselves and whether we spit into the microphones or not. So it's the same issue with the town offices. So just a little update. 3 cheers for the community relations.
All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Some of you seem like you want to stay. There's no business.
Well, I'm waiting for Tom.
I know Kirsten seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay. Kathy, could you call the roll once you're ready, please?
Is it Dr. Jim and Kirsten?
Kirsten, yeah.
Tom?
Yes.
Kirsten? Yes. Kayla?
Yes.
Dr. Jim?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Dr. Beth?
Yes.
Danielle,
Yes.
Nate,
Yes.
Brody.
Aye, we're adjourned.
Good night, everybody.